What's going on, everyone? Kimchi Chris here, and for today's video, unfortunately, it's kind of a somber one. It's not exactly a happy one, but it's one that needs to be made. It's something that I just want to talk about. I want to let you guys know my thoughts about. And you clicked on the title, so you know what we're about to get into. It is April 21st, 2017, and exactly 1 year to the date, we unfortunately know what happened. We lost one of the greatest artists of our time, or of any time if you ask me. We lost the legend Prince. Now, I did make a video a couple days after his passing last year that I uploaded to my band Night Sabers YouTube channel, and I'll leave a link to that below. But it's been a year now since we've lost him, and I just wanted to discuss some of my thoughts about the effect it's really had on myself and just culture in general a year after the fact, basically. A year without Prince. So of course, after he died, once we got past the initial shock of it, the tributes, things like that, things got a little bit weird in the Prince camp, of course, as many of you know. He didn't have a will. That's a big deal when you have that much money and that much product, that much everything that he had. And that's really weird, but it kind of added to the Prince mystique, if you ask me. Everything about Prince was very mysterious, very weird. He was very private, and I love that about him. Everything about Prince was perfect, from his music to his image to the way he presented himself. Love that. So here we are a year after the fact without a lot of new material really from him. Now, we all know when a lot of artists pass, within months there's unreleased material coming out, there's new records, there's concert DVDs, there's everything, but they're still trying to figure out how that's even going to happen. The Prince music did return to Spotify recently, which was kind of a big deal. I'm of two minds about this because Prince didn't want his music on Spotify. He took it off himself. And here we are. It came on their Super Bowl Sunday, I believe, this year, 2017 here. And we have the music back, and I'm not sure if I really approve of that, honestly. Prince didn't want it on there. Sure, it's easy and it's great to have it on there for streaming purposes and for, you know, just to listen to it as a consumer. But I already own most of the music, so most of it's on my computer anyway. So I have the CDs, I have the records, what have you. And we're about to start getting some unreleased material getting released from the vault. This summer, they're supposedly releasing a remastered version of the Purple Rain soundtrack that's going to have a second disc of rarities, as well as 2 Blu-rays of unreleased concert footage and things like that. And as a consumer and as a Prince fan, I'm going to eat that up and I'm going to love it, but if Prince didn't want to release that, why are we releasing it? And he's not in control of his estate or his material anymore because he's no longer with us. But that was just something I wanted to get out of the way early on. I just wanted to talk about the preservation, I guess you would say, of his material and how it's presented and everything else. But now let's really get into the meat and potatoes of Prince being gone for a year. How has it really affected myself and others? Well, it still sucks. There's no other way to put it. It's still terrible. It's a terrible loss. I'm not over it. Prince was one of my favorites. He did a lot of great things. He put out a lot of great records, put on great shows, he released great movies. He was a good person. He donated to charity. He did all these great things. And I'm just not over it. I'm not over losing Prince yet. He was one of my favorites of all time. And here we are a year after the fact, and I still feel like a family member left me a year ago. And it's just not good. It's bad all around. And I never got to see him live. That was a real shame on my part. Now, mind you, I tried. I didn't have a lot of opportunities. When he played about 3 hours away, I tried really hard to get tickets, and they, sold out the second they were on sale. Couldn't get a single ticket, and I was on Ticketmaster the second they went on sale. So, never got to see him perform live. And that's had an effect on my life when it comes to a lot of these classic performers. They're not going to be here forever. And that really can even be said about the young ones, because you never know when somebody's going to just go. But in this year since then, I've really been looking at it between Prince, Bowie, and Lemmy. 3 classic performers that I never got to see live and really wish I had. And now, anytime that a classic performer like that's coming through, someone that's in that 50-plus age range, I've just sucked it up and bought the ticket. You never know when they're going to be gone, and you don't want to regret it for life. My whole life, it's just going to be sad. I'm basically going to always remember, Prince was performing when I was alive. It's not like the Ramones. I couldn't see the Ramones. I was a little guy when they finished up, and, they never did any reunions or anything, and they're all gone now. And that's a real shame as well. But Prince was an active performer, and if I had really tried, I could have, driven further or something. I'm never going to see Prince. I never got to, and that's going to be something I just think about for forever. You know, and even someone like David Bowie, he was less accessible because he didn't really tour or do anything in his last years, but Prince was fairly active. And that brings me to the next topic that I feel is worth bringing up. The reason I think that it was a little bit more of a tragedy with Prince passing than a lot of these classic performers, and the same honestly could be said for Lemmy with Motorhead and David Bowie, was that he was very active. He was very active. He was still putting out new music. He was still touring, and the music he was putting out was good quality music. He was still very active. He was still very vital. He was still very relevant. So he was taken a little bit too soon. You know, he really was. There's no way to deny that. And I am a firm believer, and I don't know if anyone else would agree with me or if there's any truth to this, but I think Prince was really on the cusp of having a full-fledged comeback when he was taken from us. Now, he never went away, but as we all know, the last couple of years of Prince as a performer, he performed in very small theaters for the most part, usually capping at like 2,000 or 3,000 people. Not a small room, but when you could be headlining arenas or stadiums, that's a small room. But he was performing so often and putting out new music at a consistent rate. I really think in a year or two from now maybe, or maybe even right now, we would have had an announcement of a full-fledged Prince Arena tour, full production, you know, full band, everything. And it's just sad that we didn't get to that point. It was kind of similar to Michael's passing. He was ready for a comeback. Now, he had already announced his and was rehearsing and everything, but I think Prince, you know, he's a lot more secretive, obviously, than someone like Michael, and I think he would have made an announcement before too long that he was going to do this huge, full, bombastic tour, and it would have sold out in a second, and Prince would have been back, so to speak, since he was making new music, but he would have been back in the public eye at the very least, a little bit more even. So, I don't know, that's a bad thing I think that came out of this tune. I could have been wrong. He could have just continued to do the hit and run shows at the theaters and everything and just, you know, had continued to be what he was and build up the anticipation and maybe never treat us with a full big tour anymore. But I don't know, that's my thoughts. I think he would have done that. And yeah, like I said, it has affected me to try to check out all these classic guys and everything. And yeah, so that's a big part of it. You know, I've reached a little bit deeper into the Prince catalog even since he's passed, something I should have done when he was still here. I always have been a fan of the deeper cuts and things and the more obscure albums, but I've reached even deeper and listened to some stuff you know, the first couple of times maybe wasn't as into, and I found some really good material and some good artistry in some of the records that I'd had for a while but maybe not checked out. And there's still some Prince records I haven't listened to everything on or haven't listened to at all, so there's just so much material out there. And if you're watching this and you don't know a ton about Prince, like, you know, 1999, Little Red Corvette, things like that, I said this in my video I did a year ago about Prince on the band channel, but just look a little bit deeper. There's a lot of good material that was never a big hit from him and was never released as a single because, honestly, he didn't write a bad song. He had a couple that were better than others, and he had some that weren't as good as others, but he never put out bad music. That's just the truth about Prince. So, if you want to know more about Prince, don't get a greatest hits record. Get one of the records that has some great hits on it, if you want. That's fine. Get Sign of the Times, for example. But listen to the whole thing. Check out all the music. Just let it all come in and let it sink in. He's a great performer and was a great songwriter, great musician. He played everything great, and I really do think when we start getting all this unreleased material through the next couple of years, people are really going to see even more of his diversity. Because I've heard a lot of this unreleased stuff, not all of it, but a lot of it off of the bootlegs and things like that. But it's going to be nice to get it in a fully remastered, good product, hopefully. I know they're starting to already re-release a bunch of his stuff on vinyl and things like that, but it's not really unreleased stuff. When we start getting that unreleased stuff, it's going to be really interesting to see what we get out of that. I would love a series of concert DVDs, personally. Like, do them by the year, you know? Put out an official bootleg of every year of Prince. And that would really please me. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video now. I don't want to go on forever about this sad subject, but I think I've addressed most of the things I wanted to. I mean, basically, just to summarize, I still miss Prince. He's affected me in the way where I now know I need to see a lot of these classic performers, and even though I'm not sure that it's what Prince would have wanted, I am looking forward to a lot of his unreleased material coming out. So that's really all there is to say. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments below how your first year without Prince has been. Give this video a thumbs up. That'd be cool. And definitely subscribe for more videos. You know, I don't know what videos I'll have Prince related, but I have a lot of music related, a lot of nerd related videos. Definitely subscribe and hit the little alarm to get all those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
I know the way you feel inside. You look at me in the dark. I know you don't know how to feel, 'cause I'm a monster.